So hello members, in today's video we are going to perform mathematical operation which involves addition, subtraction, division and multiplication of numbers. So we have sample numbers here in the worksheet, and then when you look at these numbers, they are in different columns. Like we have numbers in column C, we have numbers in column D, we have numbers in column E, and then we have numbers in column F. So we are going to look at the formulas we can use to add, subtract, divide, and multiply these numbers. So I will start with the first one, which is addition. So when you want to add numbers, what you are going to do, the first and foremost is to ensure that you type the formula in one of the cells that you have selected. So whenever you are typing a formula or whenever you want to do any calculation in Microsoft Excel, you start with equal sign. So you go ahead and type equal sign. Now, what does equal sign do? It tells Excel that you want to perform a calculation. So after putting an equal sign, now you get the value, the first value, which is C4. C4 is the cell reference. The cell reference means the address where the lateral value or where the real value 40 lies. So after typing that, now you go and put a plus. A plus is the operator that means addition, that it tells you that, or it shows that you are trying to add a number with another number. So you said C4 plus, then you get the other one. So you can see I have C4, then I have C5. All these are the cell reference that represent these two values, and I have the operator plus, which is going to help me to add these two numbers. And then I have equal sign to tell Excel that I want to do calculation. So after that, you go ahead and press enter on your keyboard, and then you get the answer as 70. The other method you can use is by the use of a function. A function which is called the sum function. So what we are going to do, still we are going to use equal sign. First enter equal sign, then after you type the name of the function, which is the sum function. This function will add all the numbers in the range of cells. Then after, you're going to open the bracket, then you put the arguments. The first argument is the first value, which is C4. Put a comma. The comma works as a union. It integrates or combines different numbers together, and then before you perform an operation. Then we put the second value, which is C5. Then from there, you close the bracket. So when you look at the structure of this function, it has around 4 parts. The first one is the equal sign, which tells Excel that you want to do a calculation. The second part is the sum function. Of course, each and every function must have a name, and in this case is the sum function for adding numbers. The third structure is the parenthesis. The parenthesis is the open bracket and the close bracket. In Microsoft Excel, whenever you open a bracket, you have to close with a corresponding bracket. For example, if you open 5 brackets, you have to close with 5 brackets. And then the fourth structure here is the argument. The argument is what's inside the bracket. Sometimes we call them the parameters. So after doing that, go ahead and press enter, and then you still get the same answer as 70. So we have now 2 methods that we can use when you want to add numbers. Let's go to subtraction. Subtraction, you can subtract either way, the bigger number from a smaller number or the smaller number from the bigger number. So we're going to start with the smaller number from the bigger one. So we're going to select a cell, then go ahead and type equal sign, then you select the value, which is 40, and then you say minus. A minus is an operator to represent subtraction. Then I say minus this value, which is D5. So we have D4 and D5. What are these? These are the cell reference that represent the values we are working on. After doing that, you press enter, then you get 10, meaning 30 minus 40, 40 minus 30, you get 10. What about if you subtract the bigger number from a smaller number? We are going to enter equal sign, press it, type equal sign, then after select the value, which is a smaller number, then minus the bigger number, which is 40. So now in this case, it's going to be D5 minus D4. So after that, what you do, you press enter, and now you get a minus 10. A minus 10, it means it's a negative, which shows that we are trying to, we have subtracted a bigger number from a smaller number. The other thing we're going to do is to multiply. So when you are multiplying either way, I mean division. Division, you can divide a smaller number by a bigger number, or a bigger number by a smaller number. When you divide like a smaller number by a bigger number, sometimes you may get a fraction. So in this case, we're going to say equal sign. Then we start with the bigger number, which is 40, being represented by E4. E4 is the cell reference, or the name of the cell where 40 lies. Then we go ahead and use the operator for division. Then after we divide by 20, when you press enter, you get the value as 2. What about if we divide the small number by the bigger number? We're going to say equal sign, then you get 20, and then divide by the bigger number, which is 40. When you press enter on the keyboard, you get the value, which is a decimal number. You get 0.5. This 0.5 is the same as 1 out of 2, where you have the operator and, I mean the numerator and the denominator, just a fraction. Then we go to the last one, which is multiplication. So when you are multiplying numbers, either way, a smaller number can multiply by a bigger number, or a bigger one can multiply by a smaller number. But in the same way, you have to use the same procedures by typing the equal sign to tell Excel that you want to do calculation. Then after you select the value, which is 45, represented by F4. After you use the operator for multiplication. After that, typing the operator, go and select the second value, and then after, go ahead and press enter. Then from there, you get your value. You can also do the same, like you can multiply the small one by the other one by just pressing equal sign, then select the first value, then you multiply with the bigger value, and then you still get the same answer as 90. So these are the formulas you can use when you want to add, subtract, divide, and multiply numbers. I encourage you to go and practice, so how you can do other functions, so that every time you want to perform, regardless of the complex numbers, you can still use these formulas. You will be able to get what you want. Thank you, guys. Remember to subscribe to our channel and share our videos so that many people can watch. Thank you. See you again.